Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Taylor Jones with the Cana Team with Keller Williams here in Myrtle Beach, joined by Mr. Randy Wallace, owner and broker in charge of Keller Williams and the Cana Team. What Mr. Randy and I are going to talk about today is the current state of the market. We're in the end of the second month in quarter one of 2025. So Randy's going to give us kind of some insight as to what we're seeing these first 2 months, what you can expect, and maybe answer some questions for me as well. So Randy, kick it off. What are you seeing in this 2025 market so far?
Well, we've been talking about it for a year now, Taylor, as you know, which we felt like even back then that the last quarter of 24 and the first quarter of 25 would be the best quarters to be buying. Once you get past an election, no matter who wins, things kind of settle down, you get into business. And especially if people get more optimistic, you get a tax rate cut or you get a interest rate cut, then things get a little boost. But we've been slowing down. The other thing is, we've just been slowing down since 22. And so 23 was a little slower, 24 is a little slower. It's time to make a turn. So in looking at the numbers, for this year, we still haven't seen, any real change in the interest rate, which would make a big difference. We still haven't, seen the kind of economic boost. It's doing well, but we haven't seen a real boost to the economy yet. However, in the numbers, and this will be coming out later, but I'm just looking right now at what our numbers look like to date, as of today, through February or through almost the end of February. Again, we track that single-family home inventory went way down in 22. It started coming back in 23 and 24, and it's still risen a little bit. But so have pending sales in the last couple of months.
Correct.
So what happens, now there are 150 more pending sales right now than there were, a couple of months ago. So what we're seeing is, people are starting to come back in the market. And so there's a little bit, actually less inventory, inventory available right now in single family homes. They got 150 more pendings, which is a 5% increase. In condos, you've got 70 more pendings than there were a couple of months ago, and that's a 2.5% increase. And residential lots has 20 more pendings. That's a 5% increase. So what you see is this shift changing. It's been changing since December, January, February. And so what's happening is there's a little bit more sales out there.
Yep.
Everybody I talk to now has more showings and more prospects coming to town. All the people that have been talking about coming in October, November, December, January, and February are now making plans to come March, April, May. That's a regular secular thing, but it's also going to feed right into this story of the market making that switch. And we get an interest rate reduction, we get anything else to boost this thing, it's going to mean that the seller is going to be a little bit, feel a little bit better and maybe not be so anxious to take an offer. So this falls right in our scenario that the first quarter is still the best quarter to buy at the beach right now, whether it's condos, land, or houses, single-family houses. So everybody wants to clean up inventory. They want to get things moved. So again, what I see in the market is this still now time to buy. Come on down in March, maybe April. But again, as the spring goes on, sellers get more. They get a little bit cockier because they know that spring is here. So a lot of people are coming. A lot of people are looking. They can say no when they have had a bunch of traffic. That's not going to happen until really mid to end of April. So you've got maybe 2 more months, if that, of the prime buying time left to take advantage of. That's a very macro look at our local market. But I still say that you got a month or 2 left as far as the prime time to come as a buyer to make an offer on a condo, offer on a single family house, new or resale.
Yeah.
Either one.
It's weird because I see this window of opportunity right now, and it has a lot to do with the news and what's just happening naturally. It's funny, I found this article the other day on the top 10 housing markets going into 2025, and actually majority of them were up north, and here's why. Supply and demand is so uniquely different up there, and I was talking to friends who are moving here, my age bracket, that are moving here, and they have no problem selling their house up there because there's such demand because there's no inventory. It's funny, ask somebody from the Northeast if there's new home construction. They don't have any because there's nowhere to build anything, right? Unless they start going into the rural areas. But the hedge up north is everybody wants to live somewhat close to a major city. So why I think we have a unique hedge is we have new home construction, and we have what I'm seeing now, and I don't know if you've seen it yourself, Randy, but I'm meeting a lot of people who are moving into their condos, whether it's oceanfront, whether it's on the waterway. There are people that are moving into these what were second homes, vacation homes, or rental properties. People are moving into them.
Well, that is an item that's been in the news recently in Myrtle Beach. In the city of Myrtle Beach, the city passed a referendum, saying that for at least for now, they didn't want any more people converting short-term rentals to long-term rentals. For that very same thing you're saying, people that were renting VRBO and maybe not doing as well as they thought, or renting through a local rental company or whatever, and they just thought, well, for the headaches of it, instead of worrying about a renter being in there a day or a few days a week, whatever, let's just put somebody in it and rent it. Or, as you said, move into it themselves. Well, the city thought they were going to lose too much revenue from accommodations tax, so they put a temporary stay on that. Now, there's been a lawsuit brought about that, but it just goes to reinforce what you're saying, that people are moving here and they're looking for more options, places to live, so they're converting some of those short-term rentals to long-term rentals or residences.
Yeah, it may be conspiracy theory that I have, but this is something I've juggled ever since I moved here. It's about 12, 13 years now. I think Myrtle Beach is in a unique scenario. I saw it in the news this summer, one of the lowest years we've had in revenue for all these businesses around here in regards to hospitality and restaurants and things like that. And the reason is people are living here. It's not that people aren't coming, but now they're coming to live. So what I think is unique is we're in this really interesting window as a city, as a county, as a whole to make a decision. How do we manage people wanting to live here now when this was a vacation town? How do we make those two coexist? And I think we're going to, because I see it happening.
Yeah, you're still going to see. It was a down year for the tourism portion, partially because people were experiencing higher prices and inflation.
And the economy.
The inflation that we saw, that a lot of people said, I can't drive to Myrtle Beach. Maybe I'm going to drive to the nearby lake, or I can't go to here, so I live close to the mountains. I'm going to go to the mountains, or something else, and it kind of took a little shift away, a little bit downturn on the tourism end. The other part, like say long term, yes. Are we going to double in population in Horry County? Yes. Over the next 25 years, we will double.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, believed to be the case by every group, every organization that does forecasting for business or whatever in Myrtle Beach. So yes, we're going to grow residentially. The builders that just in the past couple of months, I've been approached by 2 new builder groups who are coming here. We already have a bunch of builders, right? We have a bunch of national builders and our local builders. And, here's a couple of new regional groups coming in. They want to be part of the growth in Myrtle Beach because they see, well, we're going to go from 450,000 population to 800,000 population is what's projected for the next 20 years. So that's a lot of growth, and you got to build a lot of houses to that. So again, that also gives some opportunity, because until you kind of absorb that and everybody figures out where they want to go, the new guys come in and they just start throwing stuff out there, and maybe we're not quite ready to absorb it all. So that's been part of our story the last year or so, where inventory has increased, and again, it's been working its way up a little. So there's been an opportunity in the last quarter of last year and in the first quarter of this year to get some deals, even on new homes.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to absorb and kind of figure out where they are, or they want to get a good start. They want to get some sales on the books. So again, it's all a new opportunity. I think. It's toward the end of that window of opportunity for the buyers.
Yeah, I think so too. We talked when we first did our election video and when we did our forecast year end. We've done a whole bunch of those. A lot of what we center those around is our 3 KPIs: home prices, inventory, and rates, right? Because those are the things that really dictate the market. And we want you guys to be as educated as you can be on that. We've already talked about inventory. What are you seeing in regards to home sale prices right now?
Well, prices, have remained steady pretty much, but, across the board, if you look at it, again, the macro look. But again, there are pockets where people have lowered prices because of the slowdown over the winter, which we normally have, and over this kind of market cycle, which again, we've been on a downward overall trend for a couple of years. So we have seen some lowering of prices. But what we haven't seen is really a lowering of prices of the new homes, which are about 50% of our market now, because their land cost is still up there and going up. I haven't seen a lot of dip in the land prices. And the cost of both horizontal construction, roads, water, sewer, and drainage, and vertical construction, the houses themselves, is still creeping up.
Yeah.
So you've got this balance where people in some resales have lowered some prices. Even some new homes, builders have offered some discounts and lower prices or whatever, or incentives. And that, is balanced by, the increase in cost of new home construction. So it's relatively flat. But again, you don't know. It's very, very specific.
Yeah.
And there have been some places where homeowners have dropped their prices 5 and 10%. And builders have given incentives that are 5 and 10%.
Yeah.
So look, that's where we are. Prices are, but they're stabilizing. And again, once sales numbers pick up in the spring, those builders won't be as anxious to give away as much, and the price will start rising again.
Yeah, and that's why, going back to that whole window theory, one thing the thing I've heard over the last 5 years, which just running me dry at this point, is everyone's holding their breath waiting on a market crash. Listen, the reality is there's much more qualified lending happening right now, so I wouldn't keep holding your breath for that. Those KPIs are what if you can manage and work with an agent to help understand, it's where you're going to help find your window. And I'll give you 2 examples. So one with the new home construction, we just put an offer in by using us as agents, right? Whether it's us or some other agent you work, whatever, it doesn't matter. But by using an individual agent that works separately for you versus the on-site, that person can help you navigate putting in an offer instead of just signing and dating on their offer. So we originally, the asking price I think was $469. We put an offer in at $399 and asked for $5,000 in closing cost assistance. So that's why having an agent work for you can really come in handy in this market. Condo wise, I've actually sold 2 condos over the last 60 days. Both of those condos were over 100 days on the market, and we put offers in at 90 to 92% of asking price. So understanding inventory, understanding housing prices, that can really play a huge role by doing your own comps, right? You can go on Zillow and do comps, but I'd rather have you call me and let me do it for you, So having all those tools in your tool belt with this window of opportunity we're seeing, I think can really play a huge role, because at the end of the day, Randy, the last variable we haven't talked about yet is mortgage rates. Do you have any advice? Have you seen anything historically that they can use?
I haven't seen much movement in the mortgage rates. It's still kind of, again, waiting and seeing if Fed's going to lower rates, if we're going to keep hanging on to our keeping inflation down, if tariffs are going to make a difference or not. So again, that's still a wild card. But most people still believe that there will be some easing of interest rates, that the government is certainly going All the elected officials would like to see that pushed. They're all pushing to get a little bit lower interest rate so that the economy can be spiked and they can take credit for it. But so everything possible that can be done to lower interest rates is going to be done. I think, and I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't really see a leading factor, and I don't believe it'll be much this year. I don't believe if anything, I think we'll go maybe from 7% to 6.5%, or
maybe
something like that. But it's not going to be a drastic.
Well, just like working with an agent with new home construction, this is why I'm telling our clients, work with a lender. I have never seen more creative lending programs in my short career in real estate than I have right now. I mean, and you don't know that this stuff is available if you don't ask or get in touch. I know it could be overwhelming, to get involved with your finances and have someone look at it, but you'd be surprised how willing they are to set you up to succeed with all these kind of programs that they have. Because if they were just holding their breath waiting on you, then they would never get anything right now. So these lenders have had to get creative as well because people still are buying and selling. So
That's right. That's right. It's going to be a good market here. I believe this year. It's just it's going to be rebuilding. It's going to be a slow rebuild. From what we've lost the last couple of years. But look, again, as Taylor says, the best thing you can do is use a local agent who's got knowledge of the local market, both resales and new homes, and get in the game because there is opportunity now.
yeah. And last piece is, again, if you're moving with cash or if you're moving on a home to sell, I think you got a really great opportunity to find a great deal. Like Randy keeps saying, in this window of opportunity, don't wait because the seller season is right around the corner. So while we've got this window of buying opportunity, take advantage of it. So thank you, Mr. Randy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, remember, like, subscribe, share this with someone, whether it's a family member or a friend that's interested in the Myrtle Beach area. We'd love to take care of you and them if they're interested. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.